Right, let's consider this as the Edexcel higher. We'll call this the Mock 2 paper. It's a very high chance these questions could appear, so let's go through. I'm just going to state the answers for this unless I think you need to know something. So here we go. Trapezium. We know that it's a trapezium, so what we're going to do to start, I'll write down the formula for area of a trapezium, which is half bracket A plus B length times the perpendicular height. Just remember the two parallel lengths A and B are the ones that run alongside each other and never meet, and it's the perpendicular height. When you substitute all values in, you'll get the answer of 48. So then we'll move down again. There we go. Question 2. Now this is a great question. Now again, size of the exterior angle. So just remember this, the interior angle is given, it's here, it's 172.5. Just remember the exterior angle and the interior angle can add up to give 180, because if you put a straight line, the interior angle plus the exterior angle give you 180. So the answer is 7.5. Calculate the number of sides. Again, should be straightforward. You just do 360 divided by the exterior angle. So we got 360 divided by the exterior angle, which we worked out to be 7.5, gives you n, which is the number of sides. Number of sides is 48. This question, basically what you need to do, that length is 50, that's 50. You need to work out the circumference of a circle with a diameter of 30. If you divide the answer by 2, you get that curve. You put that same answer there. You get 47.12 there, 47.12 there, 50 and 50. There's your answer. It's a volume of a cylinder, but it's giving you the volume first. So volume of a cylinder equals pi r squared, that's the circle at the top, times the perpendicular height. Here you've got the volume, so you rearrange this. You want to work out the height. Basically you do the volume, which is 100. When you rearrange this, you're gonna, the inverse of times in by pi r squared is to divide by pi r squared. So when we do that, we can just, I'll quickly do on the calculator, 100 divided by pi, shift and time r squared, the radius is 2, square it, you get 4, you'll get your answer. Times 4. And you get that answer right there, and you can round that answer off. There we go. That equals perpendicular height. Next one, bearings question. Remember, bearings from is where your starting position is. It says a rugby club R has a bearing of 110 from A, start north. That bearing there be 110. Put a line through that bearing when you plotted it. Then it says there's a bearing of 245. Bearing is always clockwise, so that angle there has to be 245 degrees. You plot that there, you put a line through it. Where they cross, that's where R is. Next one. Now, if you look at your formula sheet, you'll see that the volume of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. The surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. A hemisphere is half of that, so you're basically gonna half that value there. You've got, there you go, so you can substitute that there. You end up with 4 pi r squared. So let's just do that calculation quickly. We know that 4 times pi times the radius, which is 7 squared, gives us a total answer of 196 pi. I won't do nothing yet, apart from divided by 2. Hemisphere is half of a sphere, so I'll divide that answer by 2. I get an answer of, on my calculator, 307.876, like that. That's the volume of, sorry, that's the surface area of the sphere all the way around, and we've got to add the area of the circle at the top. So area of the circle is pi r squared, pi, radius is 7 squared. This is an answer of 153.938. Add that together, you should get the answer down there. Right, this one here, translation's got to come up. The shape is the same way up, it's just moved. So the movement, check the x and y axis for what it's going up in. It's going up and down in one, so that's straightforward. The shape, it's translation, check it's A to B. How do I get that there? So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. The top number is your right and left movement. Right is positive, left is negative. The bottom number is your up and down movement. Up is positive, down is negative. So, and you go down 1. So it's positive 5, negative. Next one. This is an A grade question. I honestly think this is going to come up. Enlarge the rectangle by scale factor -2 using the origin as the centre. That's the origin. This point is up 1, right 1. It says -2. Minus means goes in the opposite direction for enlargement, but I go twice as far because it's -2. So I go down 2 instead of going up 1, and I go left 2 instead of right 1. Next one, that one. I go up 2, I go right 1. That means I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and I go left 2, so that points that one. Let's do the others. Up 1, right 3 to that one. I go down 1 and 2. Instead of going left 3, I go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That one's there, so that forms that part of it. Straight away I know it's going to end up there. If you want to check this out, let me just pull this up, get rid of this, because it might be confusing a few here. Sorry about that. Just getting used to this software. If you've got a straight line, point to point, through the origin, corresponding points, this should all go through the centre and meet. There we go. Right, now this one, although I've sketched it, you better get used to plotting your own. Teddy leaves home at 1 o'clock. He drives at an average speed of 60 kilometres an hour for 2.5 hours. First thing I do, that's going to be the first distance covered. So that's a maximum difference. So you do 60 times 2.5, you get 150. Make sure this y-axis goes up to 150, hence why they've gone up in 30s. So that's a good way of doing it. You could have used a different scale as long as it's there. Now, it's 1 o'clock that they leave, so start at 1. The first piece of information will be, said 2.5 hours at 60 kilometres an hour. That's where you get the 150. That's where you get that line from. It says rested for half an hour. That's there. You should have been going up in hours, like that. And on the return home, it's to stop for 30 minutes. So roughly, you know, that's where you're going to be. So you set off at 1. 2.5 hours takes you to that point. Rest for 30 takes you there. And now the return journey is 50 kilometers per hour. Now you're at 150, you need another 3 hours after that, 1, 2, and 3, so you get to there. And at the bottom it says, can you get home in time to watch a film for to get home for 6:45, gets home at 7, so he's not going to make it for the film, he's going to be 15 minutes late. This one here, really good question this. Just remember that there, mass at the top, this is density, mass, and that's V for volume. So what you do is, you work out, you've got the mass for the first one, you've got the mass for the second material, and you've got the densities for each. Just remember, this is in kilograms, that's grams, you've got to convert this. Just remember that, always look at the units. The units have to be the same as the density. So here we go. Let's work out the volume of each one. So we've got mass for the first one. So we're going to do 377 divided by 5.8. This is where you get, where's it gone? This answer. So the volume for this first material A, just right here, is 65 centimeters cubed. The volume for the second one is going to be 1640, that's there, divided by the density, which is 4.1. You'll get that answer there, 400 centimetres squared. So we got the volume of both materials, add those together, you get 465. Now what we need to do, we need to work out what the total mass of both of the materials is going to be. So here we go, we've got our volume, we've got a total mass, which is 377, add 1640 grams, that gives us 2017. We're going to divide 2017 by the volume. Look at this, mass divided by volume will give us the overall density, and it's there. This is another great question here in a different format. Now, Jo has a recipe for bolognese sauce. There it is. She only has 400 grams of minced beef. So 500 grams of minced beef, they're the proportions for the rest of the ingredients. Now you've only got 400, so you can do 400 out of 500. The answer on the calculator is 0.8. You need 0.8 of each ingredient. 750 times 0.8 is 600. 40 times 0.8 is 32. And 150 times 0.8 or 0.8 is 120. That's all your ingredients. Next one should be a straightforward one. This 70 litres of petrol. There's already 20. That means you need an extra 50. That's the cost per litre. Times 50 by that there. Your answer is in pence, or you can turn it into pounds. You get 3% off. Work out 3% of it. Take it off. The answer, you're left with £56.21. These should be straightforward for you guys, so I'll just leave those up. Remember, standard form, first number 1 or bigger, and it's got to be smaller than 10. So just say X is the answer there for standard form. So standard form, the first number there has to be bigger or equal to 1, smaller than 10. This should be straight.